So guys, for today's video I just want to talk about my personal view of the movies that made the Avengers possible from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5 or whatever you guys want to think of it. So starting from lowest to highest, number 5 for me had to be The Incredible Hulk. Now I know probably you guys have some different opinions. I'm just stating right now these are my opinions. I'm welcome to hear your opinions, and if you guys want to tell me your opinion, leave it in a comment below down there. Anyway, The Incredible Hulk was my number 5. Now it was my number 5 because for a lot of it, I mean, it really didn't do it for me. I mean, it was a very good movie on its own. Like, it was a very comic book style movie. It showed what the Incredible Hulk was like. It didn't show that huge process on how he became the Hulk. But I kind of liked, after watching, I forgot the director's name all of a sudden, like Ang Lee or something. I can't remember. But his movie, David Bana's movie of where he was the Hulk, which is literally called Hulk, I kind of liked seeing the process of how he became the Hulk. And with the Avengers, it kind of picked up after that because he was a doctor, even though it's supposed to pick up after the Incredible Hulk. So I don't know, that had to be my lowest, and a lot of it is just because of like the storyline. I didn't really like watching and paying attention to it, though it was a very good movie. Now my number 4 would have to be Thor. Now it is Thor. It was a tie between Thor and Iron Man 2, but it would have to be Thor because the movie was just very long and didn't get to the point immediately. Now, of course, you don't want it to get to the point immediately because then the movie would be very short and like it would miss a lot of things. But it really could have like taken out like all the moments between him and Natalie Portman's character Jane Foster. Like, he's explaining a lot to her, and like all the stupid points of showing how he's becoming mortal now, and the main storyline is like him being banished because he's like an immature kid, and then he grows up and his father accepts him back, and he's all of a sudden grown up and is going to become king now instead of him wanting to be king, and his father saying, well, you're not mature enough, basically. It's basically how the storyline is, and they just like made it so long and annoying. My third would have to be Iron Man 2. Now Iron Man 2, though it was the sequel to Iron Man, and like, of course, after watching the first Iron Man, if you thought Iron Man was good, you probably have like some doubts for Iron Man 2, since how can it beat Iron Man? And then there's Iron Man 3 coming out sometime next year. Iron Man 2 didn't quite do it for me. I did like the storyline. I liked how they introduced Black Widow, who would later be in the Avengers, and everybody knows was already in the Avengers. But it didn't really do it for me. Of course, though, it was an important step into the Avengers, and it was an important basis on what was happening to Tony Stark. But it kind of backtracked because in Iron Man he was becoming like a hero, and he was like basically maturing, kind of like in Thor, and then he just went backwards because he's dying, and he's just gonna fool around because he's dying. And there's that whole birthday scene where he's just partying around, and he's just partying around because he's dying, which I thought is just like stupid and annoying. But in all, it introduced the War Machine. It introduced Tony Stark's the element that he made that goes into his chest. It introduced like his new armor. It introduced Whiplash and all of that, and those were very important things to see. Also, it showed him leaving being CEO and more becoming like in his relationship with Pepper. So that was an important storyline. So basically, this movie's number 3 because of it's a very important storyline. That's why it wouldn't be lower. But all in all, I liked it a little less. My second one will have to be Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, Captain America: The First Avenger, starring Chris Evans, an amazing movie. There's so many things I can talk about it that are good about it. There's just one little thing that would put it below, and it's just my favoritism that really would put it below my number 1, which obviously by now you can figure out what it is. But in Captain America, I mean, it's perfect. It introduces the things about basically starting into the Avengers, but not at the same time. It has you thinking about what's happening to Captain America, not like how is this going to relate to the Avengers. Now, it takes place during the time of World War II and the Nazis, so that's a pretty cool storyline to work with. And I liked how when they first created Captain America in comic books, they fit that in. It's a very good storyline to work with, and I really liked Chris Evans as Captain America. I liked how he built in the storyline of how he was just like a showboy to get them to buy stock, like to buy bonds or something. And then he became sort of a hero, and then finally they accepted him as a hero and gave him like a suit and a team and all that, and his team like was made up of his friends. So I like that a lot, and I like them explaining that into the storyline, and that relates him into the Avengers. And I liked how in that last scene they showed him going into the Avengers and how he wakes up in New York and he realizes, he's like, oh my god, all my friends are like dead. So that's just gotta suck. Now my number one, of course, has to be Iron Man. What can be said about Iron Man except Tony Stark is amazing. Robert Downey Jr. does an excellent job playing Tony Stark. There has not been a better casting in the history of any movies that I have seen. Oh, maybe some others, but because I quite like Sean Connery as James Bond, even though that's really old, but that's not my history. The history of movies that I've been in, Robert Downey Jr.'s career was, no one knew about him, no one really watched him until Iron Man came out. And even when Iron Man was coming out, who is Robert Downey Jr.? I mean, no one knew. And then boom, his career starts skyrocketing. And he has so many movies, and I did my actor spotlight on Robert Downey Jr. He is just an amazing actor, all because of Iron Man. Now, of course, Iron Man is introducing the story, and this was the first movie that came into effect, the Avengers, and I'm actually planning on watching it. Well, this video is going to come out tomorrow as of today, so I'm going to watch it tonight, which is going to be last night compared to them. I'm not going to get into that. It's confusing you guys. Anyway, I love this movie. It explains and it shows him maturing and becoming Iron Man, where at first he was just a weapons salesman and like dealt with the weapons, but then he finds out people are dealing behind his back. He builds this weapon. First he's put into captivity, builds this armor, destroys the armor, builds a better armor, and then ends up having to defend the world. And then Iron Man 2, and then the Avengers, he's just amazing. And though he's still like a party boy, and there's that line in the Avengers that I always keep using and love, where Captain America walks up to him and goes, "Big man in a suit of armor, take that away, what are you?" And he goes, "Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist." I don't know what philanthropist is. I should really look that up. But it's just ironic because that's exactly what he is. And he tells the truth about what he is. And he's joking around with the Hulk like I don't want to give anything away, never mind. But he jokes around with everybody. And that's what makes his character really, you can understand and relate to him. So I really like I really loved the Avengers. Those are my movies from 5 to 1, I guess you could say. Iron Man being the top, and I'll review the order. It went Iron Man being number 1, Captain America being number 2, Iron Man 2 being number 3, Thor being number 4, and The Incredible Hulk being number 5. I really want to see your guys' opinions, so please leave your 1 through 5 movies from the Avengers in the comment section below, down there. It should be right there. And I'm going to get this right this time. Make sure to subscribe. I think it should be right here. Make sure to click the like button, which should be somewhere right here. Make sure to not click that dislike button. That should be somewhere around there, because you guys love me. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I hope you guys liked it. So, I'm out.